Good morning, Mavericks. Today's Friday, January 14th. It is an A day.
A great day to be a Bradley Maverick.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now please remain standing for a moment of silence.
I'm Tessa,
And I'm Connor.
and these are today's announcements.
The January Student Council meeting for the 21st has been moved to January 28th.
Yep, that is 2 weeks from today.
Field trip paperwork was due today for 8th grade, and the first $35 payment is due tomorrow.
Teachers, we are in need of volunteers to play in the student versus faculty basketball game next week. Please sign up with Mrs. Gresham or Mr. H. Williams.
Mavericks, the answer to yesterday's Thinking Thursday puzzle is...
Undercover agent. Did you get the answer, Connor?
I did.
Me too. Mavericks, remember that Monday is a holiday in remembrance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his work with the civil rights movement. Here's another short video about him.
A young boy growing up in a time of segregation. A devout Baptist minister who sought to turn the other cheek. A dreamer moved by destiny into leadership of the modern civil rights movement. This was Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King combated segregation and racism still prevalent in America in the mid-20th century, insisting always on nonviolent methods to achieve his goals. He soon became a national icon of progressive American ideals. In Washington, D.C., on the National Mall, the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial is a fitting tribute to Dr. King's leadership in the civil rights movement. Dr. King's drive to move America toward the ideals of freedom and equality culminated in the 1963 March on Washington. From the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, Dr. King imagined an end to racial inequality in his I Have a Dream speech, a speech held as one of the greatest pieces of American oratory ever to be spoken. I have a dream, he said, that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Heavily influenced by Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation and Thomas Jefferson's declaration that all men were created equal, Martin Luther King Jr. gave the nation a vision for unparalleled liberty and equality. The design of the monument is taken from Dr. King's very words, "Out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope." To visit this monument means to literally pass through the mountain of despair on the way to the Stone of Hope, where Martin Luther King Jr. stands as a beacon. Nearby, excerpts from his sermons and speeches are featured on the 450-foot inscription wall. At the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site in Atlanta, Georgia, you can visit the home of his birth and where he played as a child. You can walk in his footsteps and hear his voice in the church where he moved hearts and minds. You can marvel at how he was an instrument for social change, and you can visit the tomb where this great man was laid to rest. On April 4th, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. But his immortal words have carried on.
That's all from us. Stay tuned for the Birthday is the Lunch menu and the SEL prompt. And have a great weekend.